23 states have now passed constitutional carry. Georgia will become the 24th. My friend Jerry Henry has just emailed me as I'm sitting here talking. He's with the Georgia Second Amendment organization, ga2a.org, says that you'll be able to open or concealed carry in Georgia without a license. Texas has passed it. So Georgia will be the 24th state. Do you know what that means? Over 100 million Americans will live in states with constitutional carry. Over 100 million Americans. South Carolina appears on the verge of doing it. That'll be half the states. All of this has come with a disproportionate, overwhelming media focus on Everytown USA, gun violence, gun control organizations, making them saviors of America. But this comes not because the NRA has done anything, and this is very important here. The National Rifle Association is on the verge of bankruptcy. It's being sued to hell and back by various entities, including the state of New York. It has become a sclerotic organization. It needs serious reform. The board of directors of the NRA doesn't realize how much reform it needs. They're siding with the status quo, which is less and less effective. There are other gun groups that are more effective, including Gun Owners of America, and then local groups like in states in Georgia, we've got GA2A, the Georgia Second Amendment group, far more effective in Georgia than the National Rifle Association. In fact, to some degree, the NRA has become sclerotic and somewhat corrupt and wasteful because it's been so successful. Look at the larger conservative movement. As the larger conservative movement came to dominate American politics, what happened? The grift set in among a lot of them, and the organizations began to collapse. Why? Because they'd been so successful, they carried out their mission. If the Supreme Court of the United States overturns Roe versus Wade, I guarantee you within a decade, we're going to see pro-life groups turn to grift because they will have won and they will not wind down. Some of them will go on and focus more on broader issues. A lot of them, I think, over time will turn to grift. And I don't mean that pejoratively. It's just what happens. When you're that successful, you have no purpose, but you can't wind down because the money's coming in, so you just turn to grift. But Everytown, Mike Bloomberg's been pouring money into it. These gun control groups, the media loves them. The media will put them on and never put a Second Amendment advocate on television with them. They just give them carte blanche to come on television and scare everyone about guns. And more than half the country is about to live in constitutional carry states. Why? Because the reality is different from the media and the reality is different from the left. A majority of Americans own guns. In fact, there are more guns in the hands of law-abiding private citizens than there are people in the United States. We're a nation of 330 million people and about 400 million guns. And it has come at a time, as Everytown USA and the others do, fear scenarios about gun violence. And the reality is people are buying guns because the very same people who want gun control are the same people who want to defund the police. And I hate to tell you this. But if you own a gun, you are far more likely to be able to protect yourself and your family than if you call 911. When the burglar kicks in your door, when the home invader kicks in your door, they're not going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll wait. You just called 911. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi." They're not going to do that. They're not going to wait when you call 911. Oh, wait. Let's give the police a head start. We're already in the house. No. If you have a gun, you're more likely to be able to kill the home invader than if you wait for the police to show up to find your corpse in your living room because the home invader didn't play by the rules. And when we live in a world of increasing crime and defund the police, the gun control hysterics and their nightmare scenarios don't play out very well. It is a fascinating thing that is not getting enough coverage. At a time of major crime wave, at a time of major hysteria, At a time of the National American Press Corps going all in with gun control groups to scare Americans. CNN forums on school shootings and the like. It's the Second Amendment advocates who are winning. About half the country is about to live in states where you can carry a gun without having to get a special permit to do so. You still have to go through the lawful process of buying a gun. You still have to go through the background check. All the people who say, I think it should be easier to vote than it is to buy a gun, have never bought a gun. Do you know you have to go register to vote? When you get your driver's license, they sign you up to vote. It's a pretty freaking easy process. Every single time you go buy a gun, you got to fill out the paperwork. You don't have to do that when you go vote. When you go vote, you just fill out, this is my name, here I am, I'm checking in, that's it. There's no background check. You don't have to wait. The people who say they want it to be as easy to vote as to buy a gun in this country have never bought a gun. And that's the problem. That's their problem. They haven't updated the talking points. We live in a nation where an overwhelming majority of Americans are now gun owners, in large part because the police can't protect them and the left wants to defund the police. And so people have had to decide, I'm going to protect myself and my family. Let's go buy guns and learn how to use them. And it's real hard to tell those people that it's easier to buy a gun than it is to vote when they've gone through the process, and the progressives who use the talking point have never done so. Second Amendment groups in this country at the local level are responsible, have built bipartisan relationships across party lines to advocate for the Second Amendment. It doesn't get a lot of media coverage, and it doesn't get a lot of coverage in conservative talk. And the reality is they're winning. They've won. More than half the country is about to be in constitutional carry states. Georgia should pass its this week, hopefully. Indiana, Nebraska, South Carolina are all on the verge. That'll put it with more than 25 states being constitutional carry. And you know what? There will still be crime, and there will still be violence, and there will still be media hysteria about all of the above, tying it to the rise in gun ownership. And a majority of Americans will still realize the media is lying, and the media and the gun control groups will continue to discredit themselves while you and I own guns and keep us and our families safe.